Good afternoon, everybody, or evening, I should say. Thank you for joining me on the Give and Go podcast. We are a couple days away from the official start of the soccer season. We did have one game yesterday, Barnegat versus Lakewood, which kind of surprised me before Labor Day, but Barnegat won that game. No surprise, I guess. But today we're doing an interview. Senior from Lacey, their goalkeeper, Ava Schmidt, nicknamed Schmitty, as coach likes to call you. Ava, thank you for taking time out tonight to come on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So, first question, graduated a couple of good players there this last season. How do you think the team's looking in the off season before we start the season?
We're definitely trying to figure out what works and definitely what doesn't work, especially trying to see we have a big group of freshmen coming in and a lot of them are very good. So we are trying to see how they work with our returning players and go from there.
That's pretty big because I know the last couple of years, the freshman class really hasn't been the size of like some of the other schools have had big freshman classes the last few years. And I know coaches talked to me about, a couple players here and there, but not that big thing. So that's good, a little replenishment. But how do you go about replacing, I think 82% of your goals, and we know the three-headed monster had majority of them. So how are we looking to replace that scoring?
There really I'll be honest, there really is no definitive answer of replacing them because there would just honestly there will be no one better than those three working together. But it could be pretty dang close, and we are trying to work that out this year um, with our freshmen and some returning players.
For people that didn't know, we're talking, Natalie McGovern went on to play at Monmouth, is playing at Monmouth right now. Reese Paget's up at Seton Hall, and Mackenzie Brotherson's up at Bingham, up there. So three D1 players to replace it is not easy. Um, so what about you personally? What are your goals for this season?
Definitely just come off like the same strong season I had last year. I definitely want to keep it going. It's gonna be hard trying to keep this team um energy high, especially losing with so many girls. Even if we do lose a lot of games, it's gonna be hard. But my biggest goal is definitely want to trying to let none of the girls get down on themselves because this is our rebuild year, and I also have to put that on myself. Like it's definitely not the same as last year, so it's gonna be different this year. So I would definitely want to keep everything positive and just come off strong how we ended.
Now you do have some help. Lindsay McGovern's back. Defender last year. Do you think that's going to help a little that you do have some pieces on the backside coming back? Obviously we graduated a lot of scoring, but could help keep you girls in games for hopefully until Lacey could figure out who's going to be the go-to for the scoring.
Yeah, so we have a returning Lindsay McGovern and Danielle Pasco, which are center mids, which is a very key part. Same with Liv Miller in
Mhm.
our center. So we're very good in the back. It is more of our forward. What we're gonna struggle with.
Okay. You being the senior leader of the team, what is something you're hoping you're passing that you could pass down to the freshmen that came in and the underclassmen that they could take with them?
Um, it's just a game at the end of the day. You're supposed to have fun, but at the same time, you definitely want to get used to playing at that level if you um, are looking forward to go past high school and going to college. So
Good.
just,
So let's rewind a little. Growing up, how old were you when you first started playing?
I think I was 4 or 5. It was at the
Mhm.
rec where it was like two tiny little goals.
Everybody running in a pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, they don't play with goalies really at that age. When did you become a goalie? Were you always a goalie coming up through the club system?
So I was originally a forward when there was no goalies.
Mhm.
And then Reese's mom was my coach, and she kind of
Okay.
just like threw me in that. And I'm gonna be honest, I hated it. And but after a while, I actually kind of got used to it, and then I eventually got better, and I started doing like trainings and stuff, and now I'm here.
How big is it to get the right trainer where, now you're comfortable in the position and, excel at it?
Um, it's honestly kind of just like finding someone who fits for you and who works well and knows what you're good and what you like struggle with. And honestly, you can take whatever they give you and put it into a high school practice. You don't always have to um, um, go to a trainer. And even like what I noticed is ID camps. Sometimes I take some of the drills that we do there and I
Mhm.
bring them into high school practices and I tell Coach Brewster, Coach Mahar, and we do them at practice.
That's that's good. I think you might be one of, taking training anywhere. I follow a couple Instagram accounts on there with training drills, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. You just got to find
Yeah.
what works for you. Now, you're on the basketball team as well. Have you always played basketball growing up?
Yeah. It's
Uh,
definitely a different change going from not always running in goal and then going sprinting back and forth for the full game. So it's definitely a rough 2 weeks of beginning basketball, but it keeps me in shape.
How old were you when you started playing basketball?
Around the same age, maybe like
Okay.
5 or 6.
Did you do any other sports when you were younger?
I actually did gymnastics and softball.
Mhm.
I liked the gymnastics just because I liked doing flips and stuff, but softball it was just
Yeah,
not
I
my
have
cup of tea.
still to this day have not heard a soccer player say they enjoyed softball.
Yeah.
A little too slow, I think, for it.
Yes, very. Not a lot of running too.
No. I started covering softball 2 years ago. They asked me to, and I actually enjoy watching it now. But yeah, I could see, being a soccer person, it could be tough transitioning to
Mhm.
softball. So we'll go back to, high school, your freshman year. What goals did you set for yourself going into high school?
Definitely just try my hardest. I know I was a freshman. I wasn't gonna automatically be on varsity. Just try my best. Hopefully, see if anyone noticed my hard work paying off and stuff. So I just kind of kept my head down and worked. Never really was the kind of like loud person, like very like involved. It was kind of just like had to make my way up there eventually.
Now, you stepped in for Lauren, who got injured. First question is, what were you able to learn, playing with Lauren, as an upperclassman?
Definitely like there can be rivalry and there can also be like friendship together. It doesn't always have to be like jealous of each other. It can just be like people bouncing off of each other's energy and always hyping each other up and making each other better.
That's what, I was going to talk about. We actually blend that in. Sophomore year, she came back, she's healthy, and you kind of you split time. How hard is it, for you to stay focused when one, or you mentally be ready when coach is calling your number for you to, you're going to be the one in net for that particular game.
It was a little rough at first, but then I also had to realize how hard it was for her, especially being injured as a junior. So I was
Yeah.
like, she
And she
did it
came off
last
a
year.
very good year too.
Yes, very, very good. So I was like, I knew I had to be there for her as much as it sucked for me because I did want to be on the field. So I was always the first one out there, like telling her good job. I was always cheering for her at a big save, just trying to keep my head up, as keep my mind off of always wanting to be in net.
Now back to freshman year. Any upperclassmen that that kind of took you under their wing to help you along the way? Because I know being a freshman is very nerve-wracking, and playing for Lacey, who they came off that sectional title, and there was very high expectations. Anybody that took you under the wing to keep you calm while you were playing?
I would definitely say the back three, Sophia Reed, Marley Besser, and Riley Giordano, but more specifically Marley Besser, because she could tell like I was always getting in my head, very nervous. Any little mistake I made or goal, she was always there picking me up, telling me it was just a goal. We'll get them back, and just always like reminding me of like how far I've come and stuff. So it definitely was good, and I will always try to do that for any of the other freshmen or any underclassmen.
That's big. Yeah, Marley's a great kid. I was heartbroken when heard that she was hurt and gonna
I
miss her
know.
senior year. I'm sure you as a goalie was heartbroken
Yeah.
too. Because she was gonna be a 4-year starter. Was on my all freshman team. She great leader, vocal player. In both ways. Knows when she has to show support and when that she needs to get on somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was sophomore year split time, tough. Now last year, I always like to ask this question. You become one of the upperclassmen as a junior. What was something you really wanted to improve on your junior year last year?
I would say getting older and like injuries, I kind of felt myself get like pulled back from being so risky. Especially my freshman year coming off, like I had a hip flexor injury, which like scared me a little bit. So I definitely like cut back on being so aggressive, which I wanted to come back and be my freshman self again because I had a really good year as a freshman and I was always making those great saves and stuff. So I definitely wanted to come back in and push myself to not be scared so much as I was.
You actually reminded me. I want to go back to your freshman year, that Central game. Got a couple questions about that game, but first, how fun is it to? I know, um, Central's kind of your rival. Every year,
Yeah.
it's a good game, no matter what, whether you girls win or if they get you. But how fun is it to play in an atmosphere like that? First of all, it was a night game, very tense.
Yeah.
Tense. They were kind of controlling a good part of the game, but like soccer, the way soccer goes, one good counter and one good possession, and Lacey was able to capitalize. But first, how fun is it to play in a game like that?
Oh, it is 100% definitely fun. I now understand a little bit of the football games. That kind of feels like that. Um, Definitely with the other team's parents. It's such a big school, so a lot of their kids come. Our boys
Yeah.
team came, other sports came, so it was definitely very fun, and it felt good like having people cheering for you and kind of being loud for you guys.
I do have to say, Lacey, the students and the parents, they show up for the big games. The place was packed when they played Mainland for the sectional when you were an eighth grader.
Yeah,
They show up for the very big games, Lacey, and
yeah.
as you being a student athlete, that has to I would think it would motivate you more, and get you more pumped up for games like that.
That's what I like about living in Lacey. We're not such a big team and a big
Okay.
town, and definitely we come together when it comes to sports and supporting each other. So it's always nice being in a small town.
That's why also high school sports is the best, just like that.
Yeah.
Second question for that Central game. You girls go up, and then they really poured it on at the end, and you made some remarkable saves. Your defenders were coming out of nowhere, helping another defender, whether they got beat or they just made a big run. Um, just talk about how everyone stepped up those last final minutes to prevent Central from putting it in the net.
It was definitely kind of like if we lose this, it is going to suck. It is going to hurt. We're going to all feel it. So it's kind of just like it's all or nothing. We fought for each other. We made sure um we were doing the right things and keeping everyone up. So it's definitely a good feeling knowing that everyone's on the same page and the positivity's there.
Yeah, Sophia, Marley, and Riley, they seem to have a sense. They knew where each one they were
Oh yeah.
always, and they covered the spot if somebody was. They knew somebody was. It was really fun to watch. That game was very good. Now, the final play, I think it was like a cross or a corner, and you came off the line to get the ball, landed. I guess you landed on your shoulder. Um, how bad did that stink? Because it bothered you for the next game, right? Am I right?
So it was my hip flexor. It was
Hip
bothering me
flexor.
the whole game. And
Uh-huh.
I had mentioned it to one of our coaches, like, hey, this doesn't feel right. And they were just like, stretch it out, go back in, see how it feels. Off of that corner, I went to jump. and I
Hmm.
just felt it. And after that buzzer, it's kind of funny. The buzzer, I went down, I was crying.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Okay, it's a big game, but not it's
But
not
you
that
were,
serious." And then they realized I was actually like in pain and
yeah.
stuff. So I dealt with that throughout the whole season. And
Mm.
then I took off a little bit for basketball, and I was good for basketball, but it definitely set me back a little bit. I was punting lefty all year. I'm a complete righty. So that
Oh
was kind
yeah.
of a
I remember
wreck.
coach saying that to me. Yep.
Yeah, I had Morley taking everything.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to, that was one of the best games, since I've been covering soccer. So I wanted to talk about the game, and I remember that final play and you being hurt. And I remember because I think I heard a parent, and I was like, yeah, she's hurt crying. That ain't
yeah.
that ain't because I saw, you landed hard and there was a lot of people going for that ball too in the
Oh,
box on
yeah.
top of it. So, talked about what you wanted to prove on your junior year. Now, it was a long time since Lacey has made it to the Shore Conference tournament. How did it feel, to be part of the team that, got there and, not the result you wanted, but, making it there in the Shore Conference, there's 12 to 14 teams every year that can make it to the Shore Conference semifinals in girls soccer, and just making there is a good accomplishment. But how did it feel, being there?
It definitely felt really great, especially on the season that we had. Honestly, I wouldn't say it was different from a regular game. It just kind of felt like we were going along with the season. It didn't feel like any special. Um, it just was like we're playing a good team. We're have the same goals and stuff. So, but it definitely did. It was really nice, the same atmosphere, because it wasn't just both teams like towns. It was like a bunch of other teams and towns coming. So it was a nice experience.
Yeah, I do have to say the Shore Conference, the semis, the finals, you see players from every, all different schools there watching, which is great. And it probably has a lot to do with the academy teams. You're always playing with kids from all over the area anyway.
Yeah.
They like to come support their teammates on the club side. So, um, one more question about, last year, how disappointed the season ended on a shootout. Um, how how disappointing is it that I hate that playoff games have to end that way, especially
Yeah.
states. So how disappointed were you, that season comes to an end on a shootout?
It was definitely very upsetting. I don't think it hit me in the moment because I was next in line for PKs. So I
Oh,
was like, I knew that they had scored, so I got up and I went like was excited to go take my PK, like kind of was like in the zone, and then I realized like that was it, and then it kind of like hit me. So it was very hard, especially being so close to the senior class. I would say
yeah.
these two grades were the closest out of any year. So it was definitely a really hard game, knowing that we won't be playing with these seniors anymore. So yeah, it was very, very upsetting.
How big is it to have good chemistry like that? You being there for the senior class and you saying that both classes are very close. How big is that just for like chemistry on the field and off the field?
Oh, I would say it's probably the biggest thing in the game, especially, and it shows because of our record.
Yeah.
How
18
many games
wins.
we've yeah
Yeah.
how many games we've gone on and stuff, and we're always still there for each other. Even out of soccer, like the girls just went up to the Binghamton versus Monmouth game. We were there for Nat and Mackie, so it kind of just shows that like how close and we are on and off the field and how well it works.
I feel bad. I wanted to go to that game, but I got stuck at work because I was
It
talking
was a
to,
really good game.
yes, because Sam Brett's dad told me earlier in the week, and I was like, oh, I'll try to get there, but I couldn't sneak out of work.
Yeah.
So, well,
Yeah, Mackie and Nat, they're both playing almost majority of the full
that's
game, and I think Reese is actually doing pretty good up at Seton
that's
Hall
it.
too.
She had an assist the other
Yeah, I
game,
saw
so
that.
that's that's great. I a lot, not even just the Lacey girls, but the 2025 class. the girls that are playing in college, they're doing well. They're getting some good minutes, and it's
Yes.
tough going from high school to
Oh yeah.
college. It's a little bit of a shock. So the fact that you girls are doing so good and getting on the field says how talented the kids were. All right, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Sure.
All right. What is your favorite TV show?
Criminal Minds.
Okay, a little older show. I like that. Favorite movie?
Wizard of Oz.
Okay. I think that it's the first time in a while somebody hasn't said Grey's Anatomy either.
That I
Is that like
I can rewatch that no like anytime, but I'm on Criminal Minds now.
okay? Favorite food?
Um, Definitely Chipotle.
Okay. Favorite school subject?
Math.
Man, mine would have been gym. It's always gym. Do you have a go-to song to get you pumped up before a big game?
Um, I do. I know it's kind of like repetitive and stuff, but I do love "Meet Me Halfway" by Black Eyed Peas.
Okay, I like that. Does Lacey have a playlist, or do players just listen to their own stuff while they're warming up?
We do. We do a little bit of both, but majority like when we're home and stuff, we do our own playlist.
Okay. Who's your favorite player to watch? National team, college, just
Ooh. Um, Definitely Rose Lavelle.
okay. Has she always been one of your favorites growing
Oh
up too?
yeah.
Okay.
Like I liked Alex Morgan then, but she was always like my first like jersey that I ever got and I always wore.
In your free time, what do you like to do when you're not doing soccer or schoolwork?
Definitely going to the beach and hanging out with my friends.
The beach. If I don't hear the beach, I'm kind of disappointed being in the short conference. Um, when your playing career is over, do you still want to be involved with
A
soccer,
hundred
whether coaching?
percent.
Okay, that was a
I
quick
definitely want
answer.
to do something with club.
Club, awesome. Goalkeeper coach, head coach.
I would like to come back as a coach or majority like mostly a goalkeeper coach.
I think somebody I recently interviewed said they want to actually start their own club
Oh
type
wow.
program. Yeah. Um, all right, let's talk about your future. Going on college visits, soccer, you can't start until after your sophomore year ends, which
Yeah.
I don't understand why soccer is like that. But what are the type of things that you're looking for when you're looking at colleges?
I definitely like to look at like student life if it's active even during like a weekday or like if I go on a tour during the weekday or the weekend. I like to see if everyone's out or interacting with everyone. And I like to see if I can picture myself there, if I can see myself like liking the living style, like the all the stuff that they have on campus. So those would probably be my like major things.
That's a big thing because you're going to be there in next 4 years of your life, and
Yeah.
a lot, too many students, I think, just say yes too quick to a school and don't really see, oh, can I really be here for 4 years and stuff.
Yeah.
So, do you know what you want to study?
I would like to do physical therapy and something in like the kinesiology path or exercise science.
Okay. All right, Ava, last question. What advice would you give your younger self?
Definitely get out of your head. You're only a freshman. You're still young. You're coming right out of middle school. Um, and just to always work hard. Like someone's always looking. So just make sure you're doing your best and never give up.
Yeah, you never know who's at a game that, has connections. They might see something. Like I've called coaches plenty of times saying you need to check so and so out,
Yeah.
and on the flip side, parents need to know that there could be people standing anytime.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I've never had issue with Lacey parents though.
Really?
Yeah, no,
I will say we are very passionate about
yeah,
our team and our
but
players. So it's like if they really think something was called wrong, they definitely will say something and
yeah,
get a
and
little
I
loud.
don't. When I say that too, like, listen, you're always gonna have your parents yelling at the refs. I'm more like you start yelling at opposing players as a parent.
Yeah.
That's where your little note goes in my little notepad for when if
Yeah.
somebody asks me about that. But yeah, I get it. You're gonna yell, especially in the short conference with some of these some of these refs. What we just a funny side, I was at the Manchester game last year, and when the one ref, first of all, I'm friends with the other ref that did
Okay.
that game, and the other ref ended the game, hit the first half 3 minutes early, and
Oh, I do remember that.
at that point, it was still competitive. You girls were up, but Manchester was attacking, and they did
Hmm.
score. And then they just blew it. And even though Manchester was attacking, coach looks at me. He goes, "Nick," he goes, "I still had time left," and I pulled out. I was like, "Yeah, there was." I go, "I had 3 minutes left." And then the Manchester coach said she had a couple minutes left, and then he came inside, and your coach said, "Why'd you blow the whistle?" And he's like, "It's halftime." And everyone was like, everyone had more time. And then my friend, who was the other ref, he came running across. He's like, why'd you blow the whistle?" So I do understand some of the frustration with some of these
Oh yeah.
refs. Like, listen, there's a lot of questionable calls, and already, like whether it hit your
Yeah.
hand or not. The stuff that's easy, like how much time's on the clock, you can't get wrong.
Yeah, you can't mess that up.
So, and then coach was telling me it happened like the week prior with the Brick Memorial game, but that was like 8 minutes, and there was a clock in that game too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, so I understand why some of the parents, but yeah, I also on the flip side wouldn't want to be a ref either. With
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I feel bad. I don't actually feel bad for the last game, how our state's game ended with
I
that call. I don't know if you were there,
no,
but
I
the
wasn't.
call, the how we had a PK, a penalty. One of our players did foul, but it was outside of the box. The AR ref, the side ref that was right outside the box, he even said that it was outside the box, and the middle ref, like coming all the way from the middle, called it a PK, and that's how we went to tied. And I think that was the most I've heard the parents livid. I heard them from the stands. I heard them behind the goal behind me. It was bad. Like if it was a ref that like actually was good, I would feel bad. But I genuinely do not feel bad.
They that happened, not something, but when you were in eighth grade when they played Mainland.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mainland had a free kick out. It was outside the box. They had a free kick, and Brandon from NJ.com had the video, and Lauren made the save. Her feet were in but the ball was clear, and the side ref was like, "No, it didn't clear." And the guy in midfield from 40, 35 yards out, he called it a goal.
Yeah, I know.
And I when you have the side guy saying it's not, I don't understand why you're changing it, like, because
Yeah.
you're not in position, you can't be. So luckily Lacey was able to get the game winner, but the parents are pretty hot.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
one of the worst games though was when you girls played Central in the short conference.
Yeah.
That guy, first of all, he was looking to start a fight. It seemed like to me he
Hmm.
wanted to. So, but well, listen, we could talk about refs for
Oh
hours.
yeah,
So,
all day.
so all right, Ava, I wish you good luck. Who's your
Thank
first
you.
game?
We play Tom's River North on Thursday, and
Thursday.
then we play Central that following Tuesday.
And we know that will everybody will be ready for that game.
Oh
So
yeah.
I wish you good luck this season, and thank you for taking time out tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, anytime. All right, thank you everybody for joining me. I'll be seeing most of the players on the field within the next few weeks. Have a good night.